one thing I do want to circle back on is my time at this consulting firm, because you hear of people wanting to fire the man, and there's a different like sense of urgency behind it. And one reason that I didn't have huge urgency to leave was I was learning. So in my role, I worked on mergers and acquisitions. Probably got to see like 50 companies be bought or sold. I worked on fraud and forensic projects, which was like digging into companies, seeing what went wrong, was there any fraud, and then a bunch of other like miscellaneous consulting projects. And so I would say in those 8 years, I probably had exposure to 150 or 200 companies. And as a consultant, we are telling the client what they should do. And so when I was running my own business, I basically just took all of that advice and did it. And so, the reason that I bring this up is that, we talk about firing the man, right? If that's your ultimate goal, consider like changing who you work for. If you feel like you're at a dead end job or you're not learning anything, obviously in the last 8 years I was compensated from that firm, but I'll tell you the biggest amount of compensation that I received was like knowledge and exposure to companies. Like I learned about business, and so I was in the recruiting role at that firm, and a lot of kids coming out of school would say, I'm thinking about getting my MBA, and I always said, come and work here for 5 years and you'll have your PhD in how to run a business. And I truly feel that way. And so I know we have some college students that tune into this. My background was in accounting and finance, and I think a consulting firm at a public accounting firm, there is not a better place to learn. And obviously, there are different skill sets you bring to the table, right? Like you as a network engineer, like you brought some of those skills and applied them to e-commerce. And also, I'm way biased here. This has been my path, so obviously I think it's the best path to go. But think about it, especially to any business majors. I think it's a great way to get started. So.
Yeah. Definitely want to circle back to that point of using, your skill sets and developing them in a corporate environment. You learn so much, like nobody wants to work for someone else, but like you mentioned, you were learning. You were in the learning phase, right? And so someone else paid for your PhD because you worked for them and went through the process and learned all of this, and not on your dime, but their dime, right? And so now you're able to translate those skills that you learned, in the corporate environment to your own business, which is huge.